Good morning. Welcome to Up to the Minute. It is a Wednesday, June the 18th. Good to have you with us on this Wednesday morning. As always, my co-host every Wednesday, Dr. Lana Pagao, joining me from the Northwest College. And Lana, it's about time for a holiday tomorrow as June 19th approaches.
Yeah, Juneteenth tomorrow, which is, it's on a Thursday. So I would imagine a lot of folks are taking Friday off.
A lot of us are turning it into a nice 4-day weekend. Of course, that's always exciting. And if you haven't, Lana, I know you may know about this, but we've got a Juneteenth special that's running on HCCTV. And tomorrow we'll have an updated version, which will be posted to our Facebook and also our YouTube channel. So tune in for that. We'll have more on the show later. So 4-day weekend for some of us coming up, but definitely the college will be closed tomorrow, and it is a federal holiday for Juneteenth. Thanks for joining us live on Facebook and YouTube this morning. We're live at the HCC TV studios. Just about every day, HCC is in session. And Lana, they can always catch us in social media and on our cable channel anytime.
Yeah, we are live on the Houston Community College District Facebook page, not HCC, and on YouTube. We're also on X, LinkedIn, and on HCC TV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
So, Lana, you'll be talking with this next guest. We're going to be talking about critical thinking for our students. Daniel Flores is a philosophy professor at HCC Northwest and also former director of the Honors College. Daniel, good to have you with us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're looking forward to talking to you in a short while. So stick around. Lana will be with you in about 10 minutes.
Very good.
Okay, we're going to kick things off. We mentioned June 19th is tomorrow. It's a holiday. And a lot of things are coming up. We've got June 19th, not far after that, the 4th of July. So we've got a holiday weekend, a lot of time to get outdoors. And if you haven't been outdoors lately, it's hot out there. Well, right now we've got Chief Timothy Ramirez, from the office of the HCC Police Department. Chief, good to have you with us. It's hot outside. And as I know from going out on the trails just about every day, you got to keep hydrated. Let's see, Chief, I think you're still muted right there. And it looks like we may have lost our connection. Chief, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, there you are. Good to see you with us, Chief. As I was mentioning, hot outside. You got some safety tips with the holidays approaching, and you want to stay hydrated.
Yes, sir. You want to stay hydrated while you're outside. A lot of people don't realize that when you feel like you need to drink, it was already too late. So it's very important to drink a lot of water while you're out there. Get some electrolytes in your body, like Gatorade, something like that. Pedialyte, that's some good stuff. You also want to, wear some clothing that is sunproof to protect you and stay cool. Find some shaded areas, and an umbrella will help while you're out there. It's just very important to stay cool, be hydrated when you're outside. Know the signs for what heat stroke is like, and just be careful while you're outside and wear some sun protections, sunscreen, stuff like that will help you be out there. And when we're out there, the officers, they take breaks as well because it is very hot with this polyester uniform on. So as for the people that are out enjoying the sun, it's very important to have some water and wear some sun protection.
Well, one thing I learned, I used to do endurance sports, specifically triathlons and a couple of Ironmans. And I was always told by coaches, if you want to eat and drink constantly throughout the day, and if you get to the point where you are feeling thirsty, it's too late. And I guess that's an important point for all of us. As you mentioned, don't wait till you get thirsty to keep yourself hydrated.
Yes, exactly.
So let's talk about one big one, because I know we had a tragic accident, I believe, in the Houston area, I believe up at Lake Houston yesterday, and a person was lost on the water. But water safety is a big deal this time of year. Tell us a bit about that and some tips for keeping safe when you're out in a boat or maybe at your neighborhood pool.
Yes, sir. So a lot of the a lot of the times when you're around the water, you get excited, you know, because water, and you're not normally near the water, but it's for your own personal protection. You need to, one, learn how to swim somehow, and if not, have a life jacket available and stay in areas of the water that you are familiar with. Because a lot of times when you go out to the lakes and the creeks and what have you, as it goes deeper into the water, there's roots and things that stick at the bottom of the lake, which you don't know they're there because you can't see them. Depth of the water can be very deceiving. Just like when you go out to Galveston, sometimes those sandbars are there and sometimes they're not. So you need to be very aware of where you're at. Have people watch you as you go out into the water, and have some of your friends or family on the shore so that they can help you and assist you if they do see that you're in danger. So it's really important to, you know, have if you have children, to keep your eyes on the children who are out playing near water. Give them barriers, and don't go out too far or worry too far out into the waters as you get deeper and deeper. You know, currents may take you away. So it's just very important to be water aware and don't go as far out as what you think you can, because you got to remember, if you swim out into the Gulf, you got to swim back. So getting tired is going to is also going to wear on your body. So, you know, it's very important to at least learn how to wade to keep your head afloat in the water.
You know, also, maybe you could talk a bit about boat safety too, because a lot of people, you know, get their boats out this time of year, and that's very common on there. I mean, any tips you have for when you're out on a boat?
Yeah, so got a real good one. The boat safety. A lot of times, as with your vehicle, you tend to not keep maintenance on your boat. So a lot of times they'll take their boat out for the first time for the season, and lo and behold, it worked when I got there, but it's not working when I'm out there. So it's really important to make sure that your boat maintenance is kept up. Fuel is very common out there. You'll see the high rescue go out there and take fuel because they ran out of fuel and they're out in the middle of the Gulf or out in the middle of the lake. So it's really important to have that fuel your fuel gauge up to date and working properly. Because a lot of times you don't realize how long you've been out there. It's also important to keep those safety flares and vest on your boat, your registration on your boat. All those things are really important when you're out there. Make sure that your lights are working on your boat, because sometimes you tend to forget how late it is and you need your lights on when you're on your boat.
What about travel tips? A lot of people are going to be hitting the roads as well.
Yes, traveling tips. So if you're traveling in state, most people taking their first road trips because it's just something that's fun to do. Again, you know, you need to make sure that your vehicle is in top good condition. You need to make sure that you keep your vehicle stored with supplies that you're going to need. You know, the safety equipment, flare, triangle, things to fix your vehicle for minor maintenance. It's also important to take breaks as you're traveling. You know, rest, schedule the stops where you want to stop at. Have little snacks as you're going, stretching. These things are really important when you're taking road trips. Turn on your radio and team drive. If you're with a group of people, you know, take turns as you're driving. So it's just really important to know where you're going as well. Don't rely on your GPS or your phone because it may die. So take one of those hard Rand McNally maps that, you know, I used to use back in the days when I do road trips. So it's just really important to plan your road trip and just don't get in your car and drive off.
Finally, I know we want to talk about safety tips while at home, but we're in the midst of hurricane season here in Texas, and I would imagine it's time to start checking around the house and make sure you're prepared for that as well.
Yes, they just had the Ready Houston Hurricane Preparedness Conference at the George R. Brown a couple of weeks back. And it is important to make sure that your house is secured for the hurricane and that you're ready to go for the hurricane. Have your batteries that you need, water stored. Make sure that everything in your yard is, placed away so that it doesn't become a projectile when heavy winds come by. Brace up your windows if you need be. And if you plan on leaving, make sure that you have a plan to leave to evacuate the area in case you have to. Notify your relatives of where you're going and where you're going to be going to. Those are just for the hurricane. As for safety tips for a home when you're leaving, if you're going on vacation and you're leaving your house vacant for a couple of days, just make sure you tell your neighbors that you're leaving. Maybe give them the keys to your car so you can move it out in and out of the driveway so it'll look like somebody's there. And don't broadcast where you're going on social media. This way people can't see that they're going to be gone for a whole month or what have you. So those are just little short tips that I can share.
Chief Timothy Ramirez of the HCC Police Department, some good information. Thanks for joining us, Chief. We'll see you again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you. My pleasure.
All right. We're going to take a short break in about 60 seconds. Lana will be back with our next guest.
I'm learning healthcare management while providing patient care.
I came back to grow my skills, even after I graduated.
And if I can't make it in person, I take my classes online.
Dear Santa, my mom says I'm a good helper, but you didn't come last year. I just really hope this year when I wake up, I'm gonna see that you came to my house too.
Donate today.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Welcome back. We are moving on to Daniel Flores, HCC Northwest Philosophy Professor and former Honors College Director. Welcome back to the show, Dan.
Hi, thank you. It's good to be back. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So when people think of philosophy, they think of Socrates and Plato, which is serious, but they don't think about philosophy as a serious money-making venture. So tell us about logic as a math credit. What is the relevance of logic to mathematics?
Yeah, and we can certainly talk about the money aspect of that as well, I hope. But when we think of logic, we might think of critical reasoning. We think of proper ways of thinking, formal ways of thinking, informal ways of thinking. When it comes to mathematics, there's kind of a historical connection. You can go all the way back to the ancient Greeks for this, but in the latter part of the 19th century and the early part of the 20th century, there was actually a huge movement between mathematicians and philosophers to figure out what the logical structure of mathematics is. And so since then there's been a lot of work. We don't need to go into the details, but there's a lot of thought going around what rules does mathematics follow when it comes to like human cognition and so on. And so there's certainly some sort of logical connection there. And I think the reason we think that's important is because it's a part of our native psychological structure. And if we can figure out things like how math works in terms of its logical structure, then presumably we could do more with it. And so the study of logic has been integral to the development of mathematics. We actually call it mathematical philosophy. So
that's interesting. So your students have a philosophy club. Do you still have regular events? You all are still meeting?
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. In fact, there's two philosophy clubs, one at Central, and that meets almost exclusively at the Central campus. And then there's the Northwest Philosophy Club, and I'm the advisor for that one. And for anybody interested, it's open to all students. And I would even invite staff, anybody who wants to come. We're going to meet at the Katy campus on June 27th at 12:30 p.m. I don't have the room number just yet, but I can make that easily available. We're going to talk about epistemology. We're going to talk about knowledge, what makes knowledge knowledge, some of the annoying questions that philosophers ask. What is knowledge? How do we know? How do we know that we know? So questions along that. It'll be fun. There'll be some pizza, some refreshments. It's always a good time, and we'll meet up again in the next academic year in September.
Right. So my undergraduate degree is liberal arts degree in journalism, but I had to take a philosophy class. And I remember the first couple of weeks before you could drop, until you could drop your class, we were all just so confused. But it was really interesting how people were kind of just thinning themselves out. They were just leaving. And once you couldn't drop your class anymore, the professor was fantastic. And it all just finally made sense. And he wanted us who were really dedicated to remain in the class. So what does the future look like for HCC's philosophy department?
Right. So we can think of philosophy as this sort of ivory tower, very esoteric type of discipline. But in fact, philosophy pervades most of what we do, even in the workforce, non-academic workforce. So for instance, here in our philosophy department, I'm beginning the process of the first certificate in the nation for the philosophy of artificial intelligence. It's still in the approval process with recent state legislature decisions, House Bill 37 in particular, or Senate Bill 37. There's a little bit of uncertainty how things are going to play out, but if things work, then by next fall, it should go through the approval process, and students will take 4 classes, 3 philosophy classes, 1 humanities class, and be able to come out with a certificate of philosophy of artificial intelligence, where you learn about the broader applications of AI and society, including some of the ethical implications and some of the logical implications that we talked about. So that's very important. A couple of our professors are working in conjunction with the humanities department, and they're representing what's called the Human Horizons program. It's a great books program that focuses on literature and smaller class sizes, and obviously promotes things like critical reasoning, how to analyze a text, and so on. And so that's important. There's the Ethics Bowl, where students, and you don't have to be philosophy to do this, students can participate in a philosophical debate with other colleges and universities nationwide. There's actually quite a bit that our philosophy department is doing, and we're all fairly active, and it's a really great place to make yourself a smarter person.
Yeah, with everything about AI, especially there was some AI information this morning in the news about how it might be more practical for students to learn how to use a cash register as opposed to being up in the C-suite. But as a degree and a major, philosophy may be desirable, but nobody really thinks about a philosophy major to go into a career other than, I guess, being a philosopher. So what can folks do with a degree in philosophy?
Well, the short answer is you can do whatever you want. I mean, the fact is only about 15 to 20% of people with a philosophy degree actually end up teaching. So someone like me is pretty rare. And that's sort of true with most degrees. What you end up making your money in, there's a good chance it's not going to have anything to do with your actual degree, particularly later in life. And that's just sort of a fact. But when you look at the jobs that we do have, so people, like about 60% or so of people with a philosophy degree, talking about a bachelor's in particular, end up in management, community and social services, legal services, business and finance, and 40% or so does other stuff. And like I said, only 15-20% end up teaching. And not only that, but we consistently rank in the top third of earners. Again, that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be a professional philosopher. You might be, but even if you're, doing business or, in the legal profession with a philosophy degree, you can expect a median salary, a midterm salary, mid-career salary of, maybe around 100,000 or so. And you can look these statistics up at the Bureau of Statistics and so on. So, you can make some money and be smart doing it, and sort of build your character and your intelligence. It's a really great way to have a nice life.
Great. Well, thank you, Daniel Flores, HCC Northwest Philosophy Professor and former Honors College Director. We will have all your information in our post after the show.
Excellent. Thanks again for having me.
You bet. And coming up after a quick commercial break, Todd and I will return with some news and announcements.
I'm learning healthcare management while providing patient care.
I came back to grow my skills, even after I graduated.
And if I can't make it in person, I take my classes online.
When a child is sick, there's one thing they need: a really big cookie.
Welcome to RMHC.
We're not big on poking sticks and beeping machines, but we're the best at playing dress up. We think the tooth fairy should travel everywhere, and while hospitals have doctors and nurses, we have mom and dad. Because at Ronald McDonald House Charities, we help families feel at home, even when they can't be.
Where I come from, they call firefighters the bravest. My dad was one. We lost him 3 years ago. First Responders Children's Foundation gave me a scholarship so that I can become a nurse and help people just like my dad did.
Help us help them.
Welcome back to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis, and we're live at the HCCTV studios this morning. We have a workforce symposium coming up on Friday. HCC and the Missouri City Juneteenth Celebration Foundation are offering career seminars, resource sessions, and networking with industry experts. It's not just any job fair. It's a chance to connect directly with employers in order to get hired. 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Friday, June 20th. That's this Friday, and it's at HCC's Missouri City campus. We also have some enrollment checklists available as well, Lana.
Yeah, we have some registration fairs, so students shouldn't let enrollment overwhelm them. HCC's registration fairs can make the process easy with enrollment checklists to help get support on course selection, options to cover tuition costs, and other ways to knock out their to-do list. This week's fairs are 2 to 3 p.m., which is today, Wednesday, June 18th. That's online college, and that will be virtual. One on Friday at Northline, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and that's June 20th, if you don't know what day Friday is. So check out our post after this show for more information. And it seems like it's about the perfect time for some ice cream.
That's right. HCC's online college Student Life says it's summer, but they're still hosting events. Students can satisfy their cold cravings and learn how to make homemade ice cream and toppings. 6 p.m. Tuesday, July the 1st. It's a Zoom session. If you want to know more about this, check our post for more information after this show. And we've got, it's almost time for the Drama Summer Practicum.
Yeah, HCC's Media, Visual, and Performing Arts COE is presenting the annual GI60 Houston, with HCC drama students performing 1-minute plays from around the world. That's 7:30 p.m. Wednesday and Thursday, July 2nd and 3rd at HCC Southwest Fine Arts Center in Stafford. It's free, so check out our post after the show for more information. And as you mentioned, tomorrow's Juneteenth, Todd.
That's right. That means there is no up to the minute. HCC campuses are also closed because of the federal holiday. So enjoy the holiday. We will return for Friday for those who are scheduled to work or not taking the day off. Up to the minute, we'll be back on the air Friday, June the 20th. And if you haven't registered for the summer, make sure you do so now, and also for the fall.
Yeah, so fall registration is opened. It's time to be thinking about those fall classes, or you still have time to take some summer courses to help you stay on track. HCC classes are still offered in a variety of programs, semester lengths, and a range of modalities that include online anytime, online on a schedule, hybrid, in-person, and hybrid labs. So to learn more about HCC programs, start dates, and options to cover costs, go to hccs.edu/apply.
So on tomorrow's show, we're off tomorrow, no show tomorrow. On Friday's show, HCC's Talent Engagement Department is going to be talking about their open enrollment for upcoming benefits fair. Also Friday, Paul McCartney's sister's joining us. Yeah, she's got some happenings as well. In fact, she's going to talk about McCartney Studios, a studio she founded with her mother. And she also works in culinary PR and has supplied us with some Tasty Tuesday guests. A lot to unpack right there. So we'll talk with her on Friday. Lana, thanks for being here. Have a good holiday.
Thank you. Enjoy your weekend.
All right. We'll see all of you on Friday here on Up to the Minute.